Hey Motorheads, today we're going to talk a little bit about a P0335 code on the Jeeps. We've got one in the shop today. It's got the 3.8 liter V6, came in with this code. Customer had already done a lot of work, replaced a lot of parts, one being the crankshaft sensor, which is part of the game whenever you're getting that code is to replace that crankshaft sensor. But we found something new on it, and I want to show you what that is today. We found one thing is the harness. Right out of the crankshaft sensor, if you looked really closely, that harness had some cracks. Two of the wires were actually separated. One of the wires was bent and frayed open. So it was a little farther up, a little hard to see. So whoever put the crank sensor in, I'm sure they couldn't see it. Especially it's dark because it's located on the back of the bell housing. So I'll show you where it's located. And also you can buy that pigtail, that harness, from just about any auto parts store locally and replace it. I recommend when you do that you get the wiring away from that exhaust. On this particular model, the exhaust ran really close to that harness, which is why it had failed. Also, at the same time, the oxygen sensor is right there next to it as well, and that harness needs to be tied back. So let me show you where the harness is, let me show you where the sensor is, and maybe you can fix it on your own. Okay, Motorheads, we're underneath the Jeep and we are on the passenger side, which oddly enough is the driver's side on this Jeep. It's a male Jeep, so it's a right-hand drive. But we are on the right side of the vehicle. This is the right front tire right here and the frame rail, and this is the right front fender. So I'm going underneath the vehicle here, and I'm gonna shine my light up in here, try to get this to focus for you. And that pigtail hanging down right there, let me get it focused in. That pigtail is the pigtail I've unplugged from the crank sensor. The crank sensor I put an orange mark on. You should be able to see it up there. It's not horrible to get to. You know, it takes a little bit of flexing to get up in there to get to it. Also, all of this that you see off to the side, if I can get my hand up in here, all of this is that protective heat shield made out of like an aluminum foil. So you'll want to push all that back over the wiring whenever you get up there. I've already replaced this harness. This Jeep, I actually did this job a couple of weeks ago and it came back in for another job, and I didn't make a video the first time. So that is the new harness. As I said, she's a mail carrier, so it's, you know, in pretty rough shape now, mud and dirt wise. So, but that is a brand new harness. That one did come from O'Reilly's. I will say too, there are two different harnesses, two different crank sensors, the automatic transmission versus the manual transmission. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you get the correct harness and or crank sensor when you're doing that job. Hopefully this helped a few of you out. If you've got that code, we appreciate you viewing, and we'll see you on the next video.